Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. My guest today is the founding guitarist and songwriter of just one of the most unique and underrated bands in rock. They began in the early 80s in LA, but not that one. We're talking Louisiana. Their first record came out in 1988, and they have a brand new record on the way August 19th called From Womb to Tomb. From Lillian Axe, please welcome Steve Blaze. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, Jeff. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking the time to do this. Been a fan of the band for a really long time.
I appreciate it. It's good to see you.
Yep. So the new record, From Womb to Tomb, the origins go back quite a bit. You first started talking about this record in like 2018. Is what we're hearing now the same as what you were planning then, or did it change a bit with everything that's gone on?
I actually, I was reminded by a friend recently that I talked about this record 9 years ago. So that means that at least 9 years ago, I had the title and the concept in my mind. I kind of feel like the concept and these ideas were always in my mind for my whole life, but needed the right time because it is, for lack of a better term, conceptual, but not one of those tight, very well-defined concepts. Like some concept records will just tell a story from beginning to end about an event, so to speak. This, what I want to do is, and I do it with all the songs and all the records are actually, concepts and messages and ideas of learning throughout life in one way or the other. But this, I wanted to do in a more of a chronological order from the birth of a child, and which is the creation of a soul, all the way through to ascension into wherever we go next. And my spiritual beliefs tell me that we go to heaven next, but it's just the start. So I wanted to use the ideas and lessons that I learned as far back as I can remember, from the beginning of my inception up until, well, I guess what will happen in the next 50, 60 years, hopefully longer. But these ideas and concepts are, I think they are prevalent in every single person's life. Like I may learn about the existence of evil when I'm 6 years old. Somebody else may learn about it when they're 2 or 3. All of our paths are different, and the timelines are different. But I think the ideas, the lessons, the concepts, all hit every human being, no matter what your path is at a certain time in their life. So I do have references to certain things that have happened to me in my life in some of the songs. But like it starts off with Breathe, which is the very first sound you hear is the sound of the unborn child's heartbeat, which is not what you would expect. Everybody thinks the heartbeat is boom, 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 boom. And it's not. It's more of a swirling thing. While when you hear the unborn child, the heartbeat is completely different. So then it starts off into my ideas on what it's like right when the child is born up until the early childhood, and when I start having memories in my life, the things that I think I was feeling and I was learning, and all the way through to the end. So it's conceptual in that it's about the important elements of being a human being, but without it being a story, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think that really makes it universal in that you could pick up any of the songs. You don't need to go in order to kind of get where the theme is going. But like you said, some people may learn about evil at a certain age and others get it at a different age. I don't think that your personal beliefs or outlook really matter, because the way the record is written, it's a very universal record.
Right.
And I think that's a sign of good songwriting, is that when you can write something that's specific to you, but yet strikes on a universal level.
Right. I agree with that. You can move around the record. Every song is, fairly distinct in its message, so to speak. But I urge people to, when if they have the ability to sit and listen from the first heartbeat till the last reverberated chorus of angels at the very end of the album. It is a very fluid record.
Mhm.
Songs move into each other. Not that they're not connected. There are spaces between them, but some of them are very connected, but they're interludes, which act as bridges between songs and ideas. And it's like reading a novel or seeing a movie. To get the full gist of it and to fully understand it, you really have to sit there for the hour and 7 minutes and just with no distractions and let it flow through you. That's when you really get it'll be its most impactful, I think.
And this is the first Lillian Axe record in about 10 years, and it's almost an entirely different lineup than the previous one. So as a songwriter, when you're putting something like this record, which is really complex, together, and you're changing members of the band, do you just write what you're going to write and then sort of bring in the people that could bring it to life, as opposed to writing, for the people you have around you?
Yes, exactly. I've always been a firm believer in the song is the song.
Mm.
And when we have had, and look, the band's 40 years old from its inception. So, relationships come and go. You're going to change members. The essence of the band is its brand and its legacy. And, we've had some changes, but every individual that has come into the band has been a major part and a major addition to the band at that time. So I don't really think one way or the other about, okay, well, here's our new drummer. I got to play according to him.
Mhm.
And the main reason is that when, we are choosing a new member for the band, we know ahead of time whether or not, kind of, I don't know, spiritually, if it's going to work or not. You know what I'm saying? Like if Wayne, our new drummer, has been with us a couple of years. We've known him a while. Wayne is, he is his other projects that he's in, Infidel Rising, is prog metal. He plays tons and tons of double kick drum stuff, right? That is not, it's prevalent maybe in a song or two with us, but we're a different type. But Wayne is an amazing drummer, so he can play whatever works for the song. And so it works out. I don't have to think about anything other than the song. It's kind of like when I have somebody that I'm working with, all of that just, like, people ask, how do you put these things together? And it's really hard to describe because they just whirl around in my head. When I'm writing, everything comes at the same time, and I hear the members in it. Like, I hear Brent when I'm working on the vocal lines and melody. I can hear him, and he's so versatile. He can do everything. I don't ever, fortunately, have not been in a situation where I had limitations on how somebody could express themselves at their instruments. So it works out very, very well that we just have such a talented group. This album, honestly, I've had the idea and I've heard it in my head how I wanted it to come out. And it exceeded the expectations all the way across the board. And the power with the soundscape. I mean, this album, when you listen to it, it's very wide and clear and crisp and powerful and punchy and dynamic. And it's hard to get those elements on tape, so to speak. It's hard, do you have the right mix? Is the right EQing? Are the levels right? And it's, we had Ted Jensen master the record, who's done 1 million records. He's the top of the line. I mean, this guy's amazing. He's done Hotel California by the Eagles, Billy Joel, the new Ghost record, Guns N' Roses, Madonna, you name it. He's mastered their records. So we were fortunate to have him do this. And he just did he took what we did, and it's like he just amplified it. He didn't change stuff. It's like he just put his magic to it. And at the end of the day, it came out exceeding all of my expectations. So.
Yeah, and I mentioned in the introduction that Lillian Axe is a unique band, and I think kind of hearing the story of this record solidifies that. early on when the band was starting out, you did some work with Janie Lane of Warrant and Robin Crosby from Rat, and Lillian Axe had its period, with Love and War and Poetic Justice, where you were seeing some success. But do you feel that you guys sort of got unfairly, and I hate this term, grouped in with hair bands, when
Yeah.
really the complexity of your music is more along the lines of like a King's X or a Queensryche?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, those two bands and Saigon Kick
Mm-hmm.
are the three bands that we've been put in the grouping of category in more than any other band in the world. That's the group. And it's usually under with us, King's X and Saigon Kick, that the three bands that were unique that never got their justification. So, and I, rightly think so. And I'm friends with guys in both of those bands. And I think they both kind of, like Jason Beeler is a friend of mine, and Ty Tabor. They just realized, hey, you know what? Yeah, we haven't had the massive commercial success we deserve, but we're good, and we're proud of what we've created and our legacy and our brand. And that's how we feel about this. And look, there's always tomorrow. I mean, we're just going to keep putting out new music, and we're just going to keep on moving. Both of those guys are doing it too as well. And we just keep doing what we do. And if the world catches up, it's good for them. So we just keep doing what we have to do. And when we've never become complacent. We always, even though our last studio record was 10 years ago, we put One Night in the Temple out. We got a new deal. We played lots of shows, and we put out 3 months ago an anthology record with our new label called Psalms for Eternity. So we're never sitting still. Now with the new label, I'm looking for the next record already. So.
And we've talked a lot about kind of what went into this record, and from womb to tomb, and just the complexities of the arrangements. There's a lot of acoustic work, there's strings, there's piano. Just the different vocal arrangements are really unlike anything out there right now. It creates really its own unique sound. I'm thinking particularly of Dance of the Maggots, just a complete epic that, no rock band from, of your original peers is going to put out something like that these days. What is it that's always pushing you to expand your boundaries and come up with, something like Dance of the Maggots?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I made a little list. I'll say, okay, what's on this record? We have heartbeats, we have piano, we have timpani, we have maggots, flies, tubular bells, grand piano, massive choirs, Hammond B3 organ, sound of woolly mammoths. We've got, and that's just touching, cuckoo clocks, and that's just scratching the surface. Oh yeah, by the way, we have giant guitars, bass, and drums too. But that's just, if you look back, at our first record, like the debut record, I had touched on that element of my thought patterns with Waiting in the Dark, and and Hard Luck, and some other things that were different. But at that time, I wrote those things when I was probably 19, 20 years old. So at the time, that's my mentality was a little bit more, rock and roll, Alice Cooper, Kiss, stuff like that. I was into that straight ahead guitar style and stuff. And, the bands that were really popular when we were just starting out, like Rat and Crew and these guys and stuff. So that influence was there a little more so. And I also was writing a little bit more about, girls and that element of just, but I never was sleazy about it. You know what I'm saying? I wrote about like relationships. Most of the time it was about heartbreak and heartache, because that's what we all went through, right? A million times. But I also wrote Waiting in the Dark and Ghost of Winter about getting old and about dreams and things like that. And the world stopped turning, and more, I started to feel like it was okay for me to branch out and do things that really moved me more than just the coolness of a great rock song. You know what I'm saying? So that's where things started to evolve. And I grew up more. Yeah, I became different in what was important to me and what I thought about and what I thought moved people. I thought writing songs like "See You Someday" and "The Promised Land" would move a soul maybe in a different way than She Likes It on Top would, you know? So that's where I started to get to the point. And when you're very young, you're also trying to juggle what you want to do and what everybody around you is telling you you should do. You know, hey, show a little love. We got to do another one of those. True Believer was top 40 hit. All right, we need another True Believer, you know? And I'm like, well, I just don't, I can sit there and cookie cutter this stuff out for you all day, but it's not true to my heart, you know? Sign of the Times and Needle in Your Pain and Mercy and, you know, songs like that, that's my heart. And so I tried to stay true to myself without totally, you know, going off the complete deep end, because I didn't write those other songs because I was trying to please anybody. Those were in my heart, you know? Dream of a Lifetime, those kind of things. That's what I liked, and that's what was in my heart at the time. So that's what I wrote about. As I got older and more life experiences and became, I would like to say, expounded on my musical talents and my creativity and my songwriting skills, I wanted to go off into different things. And that's when you have Fields of Yesterday and Deep in the Black and songs like that, that, you know, even to this day, you know, you have your school of people that's like, oh, those are my favorite songs, the big long epics and the ones. And then you got people that are, why aren't you writing another Dream of a Lifetime? I'm like, if you like that, I did write it. Lillian Axe. It's a Lillian Axe song. Go back and listen to it. But don't stay in this narrow view. Listen to everything, because I promise you, I'm still writing everything. I still have the same chordal mentality and melodies and harmonies and guitar. It's still there. It's just it's like, why do you want to stay stale and do the same old things? Don't you want to hear? I want my favorite bands to come out and do something they've never done before and blow me away. I'm still going to go out and, you know, if Aerosmith puts out a new record and it's amazing, I'm still going to go listen to Toys in the Attic, because I love all their stuff. I love the band. You know what I'm saying? So, so that, you know, it's kind of one of those things where I just got to the point, was like, you know what? I'm writing what moves me and what this band is about and what this band is about. That's what I'm going to do. And that's, you know, in this, and I've been approaching it like that for a long time now. But on this album, it was like, you know, I don't have to prove anything anymore to anybody. I don't have to prove who we are. I just have to let them know that we're getting better every time and give them something that's going to make them cry or a hair stand up on their arms and that kind of stuff, and move them. Especially nowadays, this world needs help, and we need spiritual help. We need to be able to relate to each other better. We need to know that, hey, I go through this, but so does that guy. You know, you need Steve Blaze gets bummed out. Steve Blaze, you know, gets hurt and he's had his heart broken and this and that and goes through that. Well, of course, just like everybody else. So if they can relate to that, and God, the guys in Lillian Axe are like, you know, these guys aren't just about, you know, TNA and parties. No, we've never been about that. We're about life and having a great life and being good to each other and moving forward and being powerful. And those are the things that move us, and being empathetic for each other when we go through bad stuff. So what can we do in our career paths that are going to help other people out? And I think when people hear this record, they're going to get it. I really do. It's not a record that you sit down and listen to while you're slugging down a 6-pack and go, yeah, bro, that's cool. You know, it's not that. It's something that you listen to over and over, and every time you hear it, you get something new from it, and it is powerful. It really is. So I just can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, and it is out on August 19th. And then you guys are actually hitting the road doing some UK dates for the first time in almost 30 years. What's that feel like as you get ready for that? And will we see any US dates after that?
Yeah, we're doing a warm-up show here in Mandeville, where I live. On the 13th and the 18th, we go to Gatlinburg to play the Monsters on the Mountain Festival, which we're really looking forward to. The next day we drive to Atlanta and fly to the UK, and we do 7 headline shows in the UK, Scotland, England, and Wales. 7 days in a row, turn around the next day and fly back. And so we're really looking forward to it. We've been to the UK about 10 years ago. We went there, but we did one festival. We did a European tour, but it was all the eastern half of Europe. And so now we get to come to the UK again, and then hopefully back over to Europe and Japan later on. But we are in the process right now of trying to set up dates for when we get back. And a lot of it hinges on the record and what happens to it, you know, right off the bat.
Yeah.
We have a new video for the first track, I Am Beyond. It's the first, I guess you would say, release, for lack of a better term. I don't think anybody does singles anymore. But I Am Beyond video is about to come out probably in about a week. And it's a cross between The Matrix, Tron, and Game of Thrones. You can imagine that. It's phenomenal. The editor, Todd Schmidt, just blew us away. It was like it's unique. It's a video like I've never seen before. So we're excited about that too. So that's what we're doing. We're getting ourselves geared up to get out and support this record.
Can't wait. Hopefully we could catch up here in the Northeast sometime soon.
Absolutely.
We've been spending some time here with Steve Blaze of Lillian Axe. They have a great new record called From Womb to Tomb that's coming out on August 19th. All the streaming services. I saw you have some copies on the website as well that people can order from for physical copies. Steve, just thanks for coming on. Best of luck with this record. And like I said, hopefully we can catch you on the road coming up soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. And look, you've got my number. Anytime I can do anything for you, you want to chat, give me a call, man. I appreciate it.
And same here, my friend. Whenever you have any dates or anything like that you need to promote, let me know. We'll get the word out there.
I will do so.
You got it. Thank you.
Take care, brother. Bye-bye.
Bye.